Good afternoon. Thank you for joining our breakout session for administrative and technical positions at USDA's Economic Research Service. My name is Jennifer Smits, and I will be your host for today's session. Both agencies recently relocated to the Kansas City metropolitan area and are seeking qualified candidates for a variety of positions. We held a career expo at K-State Olathe last November and wanted to host another event for job seekers in the Kansas City region. Thank you again for joining us today. Before I introduce our speakers, I'd like to go over how the session will work. This webinar will be recorded and posted with a transcript and an FAQ document on workforusdakc.com and the career pages of ERS and NIFA. All participants are currently muted and will remain that way for the duration of the webinar. If you have a question, please submit it through the Q&A. After the presentation, there will be time for questions. Your question may be answered in writing through the Q&A feature or asked live during the Q&A time. All questions will become part of the FAQ document posted online. Today you'll learn more about ERS administrative and technical positions, including our current vacancies. In addition, representatives from our Human Resources Division, Brandon Nignadovich and Kelly Martin, are also attending to help answer HR-specific questions. Now I'd like to introduce our panelists. Camille Haylock is the Acting Director of ERS's Information Services Division, and Adam Klein has served as the Acting Director of ERS's Administrative and Financial Services staff within the Office of the Administrator. Now I will turn it over to Camille, who will give you a brief overview of ERS and the focus of work for the Information Services Division, followed by Adam, who will talk about ERS's Office of the Administrator.
Thank you, Jennifer. So ERS's mission is to provide trusted, objective, and timely research and statistics to inform decision makers. And we anticipate trends and conduct research on emerging issues. We do not make policy recommendations. In addition, ERS is one of the 13 federal statistical agencies producing timely economic statistics and providing the public with trusted sources of data on farm and rural households, consumer food choices, and commodity markets. Next slide, please. ERS is comprised of the Office of the Administrator, as well as 4 divisions. The Information Services Division, which I'll be talking a little bit more about in just a second, the Food Economics Division, Market and Trade Economics Division, and the Resource and Rural Economics Division. If you'd like to learn more information about the research divisions, please go to the ERS website for additional information. So to tell you a little bit more about the Information Services Division, within ISD, the several branches, I will kind of talk a little bit about each, but the goal of our branch is managing application development, information technology, publishing, research support, and web services for the agency. So I'll start by talking about each branch, and I'll tell you if there's upcoming, we have announcements that are currently open, but I'll tell you which branches will have future announcements available as well. So the Applications Development Branch, ADB, the staff there focus on applications, web applications, as well as database management. The Information Technology Branch includes our ISD's help desk that helps support the agency, as well as our network staff. The Publishing Services Branch manages the publication process and the release of reports, including our premier online magazine, Amber Waves, as well as our daily charts of note and special outlook reports. We encourage you to go to the ERS website to subscribe to our daily charts of note if you would like more information about that. This is a branch where we have an existing position open that I'll talk to you about in just a little bit, but we will have future positions open in PSB. Next up is our Research Support Branch. That branch supports the agency with geographic information systems, GIS systems related support, as well as data visualizations and other research related support. And finally, our Web Services Branch, WSB, is responsible for managing the public-facing ERS website. Okay, next slide. turn it over to Adam. Thank you.
All right, thank you, Jennifer, and thank you, Camille. As Jennifer mentioned, my name is Adam Klein, and I'm going to give you a brief overview of the Office of the Administrator. The Office of the Administrator oversees the agency's day-to-day operations and more specifically has primary functions of creating, planning, implementing, and integrating the strategic direction of the Economic Research Service. This includes responsibility of providing communication both internally and externally, budget formulation and execution, human resource activities, and facilities and space management for the entire organization. And Camille?
Okay, so now I'm going to talk through the positions that are currently open. So first up is the Business Operations Specialist position. That is a GS-12 position. It closes on Friday, May the 1st. That position is located within the Office of Director within ISD, meaning that it's a role that is a liaison for all of the branches within ISD, as well as a liaison to the ERS budget team and acquisitions help as well. And so that role, that position, the role will be to manage the division's discretionary budget as well as IT budget. In addition, the role will oversee the division's contracts. Again, this person will be a liaison to the different branches and will help to handle many of the procurements that come out of ISD. So that's first up. The next position that is currently open for ISD is the Public Affairs Specialist GS-13, also closing on Friday, May 1st. And that position is, the main role will be to provide editorial support as part of the publication process, and sort of managing and overseeing the publication process, as well as support to the rest of the agency, working closely with authors within the research divisions and across the agency, as well as working with other parts of ISD within the other branches, coordinating with web services branch, for example. I mentioned earlier that there were other positions upcoming, so as well as within the Office of Director and PSB, we also will have future positions posted within the Research Services branch, as well as the Web Services branch. Adam?
All right, so the Office of the Administrator currently has 3 positions open. The first is the Budget Analyst position. This is a GS-9 11. And the position is located within the budget staff and will be responsible for a full range of budget execution activities related to relocation, travel, purchase card administration, and organizational program accounts within ERS. Applicants will be evaluated on 3 major knowledge, skills, and abilities competencies: administration and management, budget administration, and financial management. Some of the examples that this type of experience that we'd be looking for someone in this position include experience developing spending plans to monitor and track availability of funds, reconciling, researching, and resolving account discrepancies, and maintaining financial records. The next position is an administrative officer position, also at a GS-9 11. There are currently 4 vacancies we're trying to fill with the administrative officers. This is 1 position within each of the 4 divisions at ERS. And they will be responsible for preparing financial and budgetary reports, assisting in coordinating personnel actions, and maintaining documentation and records in support of contract and vendor activities. Applicants here will be evaluated on 4 major knowledge, skills, and abilities competencies. These are administration and management, contracting and procurement, financial management, and personnel and human resources. The third position open in the Office of the Administrator is the secretary at a GS-9. This is located in Kansas City and will serve as the secretary to ERS's associate administrator, providing secretarial and administrative support functions. Some of the responsibilities include preparing agendas, completing travel arrangements, receiving and routing incoming correspondence, and assembling documents for the associate administrator. Applicants here will be evaluated on 3 major knowledge, skills, and abilities competencies. These are administration and management, clerical, and managing and organizing information. And like Camille, we do have some upcoming positions that are not announced yet. And 2 that are coming up hopefully shortly here in the next 2 or 3 weeks are 2 positions related to human resources. So please be on the lookout on USA Jobs for those.
Thanks, Adam. And all of the positions are on USA Jobs that are currently listed. And also there's more information about them on our ERS careers page. Also, before we get to Q&A, and as a reminder for Q&A, if you'd like to submit a question, please do so through the Q&A function. But just wanted to talk a little bit more about how you can find out more about ERS. If you can subscribe to email updates on our website to include information like charts of note that Camille mentioned, where you will get a chart several times a week in your inbox from recent ERS research. And if you go to our website and click on the mail icon, it'll take you to the sign up page. We also encourage you to follow us on Twitter at USDA_ERS, or we now have a LinkedIn page and you can follow us there as well for the latest updates. If after today's session you have additional questions, please email careers@usa.gov, and we will follow up with you to get those questions answered. So now I'd like to open it up to Q&A. I don't see any questions yet, but if you would like to ask a question, please type it into the Q&A and we will answer it for you. So I'll give everyone a minute to submit their questions. While we're waiting for questions, I can ask a couple of our panelists. Camille, could you talk about kind of what the team environment is like for some of the positions that you have posted right now?
Sure, that's a great question. So for the public affairs specialist, that's within the publishing services branch. But that branch is comprised of both writer editors as well as visual information specialists or graphic designers. The team is very engaged and works well closely across the agency with the various authors. Very good working environment for that team, very close-knit. The other position is within the Office of Director that I mentioned. It's a smaller group that helps to support the whole division. And again, I think the division as a whole is a very close-knit division, and everyone works very well together.
And Adam, how about the positions you talked about?
Yeah, I mean, similar to what Camille said, I think it's a very family-oriented agency at ERS, and these positions are going to have a chance to work across all functional units of the agency, both in Kansas City and virtually and remotely with the staff in Washington, D.C. So I think the candidates, applicants for these positions, looking for motivated and people that are take some self-initiative and will be able to go far within the agency.
So now we do have some questions coming in. So the first one I'd like to ask is, what are some of the most critical needs for positions that you see that you need to fill going forward?
Okay, so I can start that off. Critical need, we have actually recently made several selections and hires for our writer editors within PSB, and so we're continuing to build out that branch. And really, just the need is for people who can help support the publication process at ERS. And on the other side, so the example with the business operations specialist position, that is really just helping to maintain the operations of the division. And with that position, we also will, having that person work with various components of the branches, we want to be able to build out within RSB, our research services branch, the number of geographers that we have in that branch. And so I know that we had a position that actually recently closed, probably within the past week or so, for that. And within our web services branch, again, it's really supporting the publication process at ERS, but it's the, there will be some upcoming positions that are basically our web content, that align with web content management. So those are the types of positions for ISD.
Thanks, Camille. Adam, do you have anything to add to that one? Adam, you're on mute.
Yeah, I was going back and looking at the question. I think as far as office administrator goes, and just ensuring that, all the agency's daily operations are met, having good people and working on budget execution is key, because that works across all divisions at ERS, and we'll be working with the administrative officers as well as with business operations staff that Camille is referring to. So I see having some really good budgeting expertise would go a long way.
Thanks. And Camille, this would be a question for the Information Services Division. Do you foresee any entry-level GIS openings, or are you only looking for experienced personnel?
So right now, we do, I think the position that recently closed, and don't quote me, I may have to look back at that, but I think it was a career ladder. It may have been, I think it was announced as a 11/12 with promotion to a 13. So that, and that was, again, was recently closed. And don't quote me, because I may be a little bit off on that one. But other than that, we don't have positions currently planned for lower than that 11 level. We do have opportunities for internships within ERS. The closing date for the internships, that has already passed, and we've already made selections, but we will in the future continue to have geographer interns within ISD through the Pathways program.
Great. Next question, probably Adam, this one would pertain more to your positions. Would experience in the but maybe Camille's as well, would experience in the financial services industry be helpful in any of these positions?
Yeah, I think any type of financial services experience would relate or correlate to some of these type of responsibilities. I think it may be best to kind of look at the job announcement and look at some of those roles and responsibilities and try to determine if that experience the person has does relate. But I think I can see it being a very big benefit.
Yeah, and for ISD, I'll just piggyback a little bit. For the business operations specialist, that person will be on the division side, so it'll be from the division's perspective. But I think it would be good to have that type of background as a liaison to the budget team that's within the office of the administrator. So anyone with any type of budget execution background, I think would be good.
Thank you. And the next question, within USDA, what is ERS known for?
Charts of note. No. That's our favorite answer. Within USDA, what is ERS known for? I would say quality research and statistics, I guess with the focus on economic statistics. I know we have a lot of partnerships and collaborations with other agencies within USDA. We're working together. I don't know if that's a solid answer if the person's looking for more information.
Yeah, I mean, to add to that, we're putting out economic research reports and data products all the time. So going to our website, if you see our calendar listings, you can see kind of the information available. And we had the 3 research divisions as well. Each has a different focus. They do collaborate closely with USDA agencies. It's quite a bit of work that's put out for sure. So if you have any follow-ups, definitely let us know. Adam, anything to add?
No, I was just going to kind of reiterate that ERS does work very closely with other USD agencies, and there's a lot of respect that goes being in one of those other agencies that ERS has worked with in the past. There's a lot of respect for ERS and the work that they do.
And then the next question, what is the timeline for when these additional positions will be posted? Is there one?
So I can talk first. The next up will be the web content management positions. I'm not saying the exact job series now because it's still going through the process. If I had to guess, that one might be a little bit within, I would say, the next month and a half. That might be, I don't know if that's a good guesstimate. And then anything else we may have, that's the same range for other positions, about a month and a half. They'll say 6 to 8 weeks.
Great. Adam, anything else you'd like to add?
Yeah, sometimes it's a little difficult to say exactly when. I mentioned a couple of the human resource type positions that we have on the horizon, and I'm hoping that time frame looks more like 3 or 4 weeks to be posted. And as I'm sneaking ahead and looking at the question about learning and development, one of those HR positions is in Kansas City, and it would be related to the learning and training and education for the ERS staff. So yeah, that role is going to be included in one of those upcoming positions.
Thanks, Adam, and thanks for answering the next one too. Another question, do skills developed through writing and publishing in the academic world translate well to the publications division?
I would say yes, because many of our authors that are in the research divisions that work closely with our editors, I think would have a similar background. And so understanding, of course, we do have style guides that are specific to ERS and USDA. And we've got, I'm not quite certain if it's posted on the public ERS website, but there's a writing for ERS guide that our authors use. And so coming from many of our authors coming from an academic background and kind of going into writing for government and plain language and things like that, I think there is an easy, well, maybe easy is not the right word, but I think that it translates well.
Thank you. And have a few more questions coming in. Are you anticipating the need to hire policy analysts in KC in the near term?
So I cannot answer that question. I don't think so, but if there was anything like that, maybe in one of the other divisions, but I really can't speak to that since we don't make policy recommendations. So.
Right. Yeah. And we do have the other area where we're hiring for a lot is economists, and there is a session tomorrow about economist positions specifically. It's tomorrow at noon Central Time. Let's getting a few more questions in. The next question's about top performers. What are some of the standout qualities that you look for, you've seen with top performers for these types of positions?
So I would say that top performers would be someone who goes above and beyond, I would say, in trying to come up with solutions to, you know, any problems that may arise. But then also, I think someone who really takes the initiative, someone who's a self-starter, someone who can come with ideas and maybe a different perspective for the way our processes are set up.
Yeah, I think I would just add, you know, now more than ever, you know, having those good communication skills, you know, especially working with the agency being in two locations, Kansas City and DC, you know, being able to communicate in multiple ways is going to be very helpful. And I would agree with your quality of somebody that takes initiative and is innovative. You know, with the number of changes that are going on just in the federal government alone, you know, coming with a positive attitude, being able to take initiative and come with ideas is great quality.
And the next question, maybe something that the Brandon or Kelly might be able to help with in terms of the HR side, but what advice do you have regarding tying your resume to the specific qualification questions that are part of the application?
Yes, hi Jennifer. Yeah, I'll take that one. So a lot of times people will kind of do up one resume and have that saved in their USA jobs profile. What I would really encourage and recommend is to read each job opportunity announcement in the qualifications section and make sure that your resume addresses that specific specialized experience that's listed in the job opportunity announcement. That's what the candidate will be assessed against. So it's very important that you kind of tailor your resume to each individual job opportunity announcement.
Thanks, Brandon. And we've got a couple more questions coming in. Are there positions that are open, if they're not open to the general public, does that status ever change? The person's asking about the business operations specialist position.
Okay, so it looks like they're asking, does it ever change from to general public? Oh, okay, so that particular announcement is open to status candidates, which basically means it's open to candidates that have been in the government before or currently government employees. So it is very critical that you every time you look at a job opportunity announcement that you look at the area of consideration for who may apply, because some jobs are only open to you know, former or current federal employees. So that particular business operations specialist, I do believe is open that way.
Thanks, Brandon. And I have another question that just came in. What kind of technology do you use to work collaboratively?
So within ERS and within the USDA landscape, we do use a lot of Microsoft products. So we've got SharePoint is available. We've got Microsoft Teams. Now being in maximum telework, we do have the opportunity to use Zoom for government, as well as, so Microsoft Teams is the replacement for Skype for Business that will go away, I think the end of 2021. That's like a Microsoft thing. But we do have Skype for Business is also available in terms of collaborating and communicating between our offices.
Thanks, Camille. And again, if you'd like to ask a question, just submit through our Q&A. We have a little bit more time while we're waiting for questions to come in. I'll ask Camille and Adam if you could just talk a little bit about what your favorite part about working at ERS is.
Sure. Favorite part about ERS. So I started at ERS back in 2016, and I would say hands down, my favorite part is just working with the people. And we really have some very committed, passionate staff. And it's exciting to work in that type of environment and see the type of quality products that come from that type of collaboration. So absolutely the people and their dedication.
Yeah, I would echo that. I haven't been at ERS for long, but I was immediately embraced by everyone at the organization, whether they had been there for a year or if they'd been there for 30 years. So you know, it's a very tight-knit group, and the passion for the type of work they do and the importance of the work is visible with everyone that you talk to about it. So yeah, the people are number one.
Great. Thanks, Adam. And so one more question about technology and processes, and how is information shared across projects or divisions in the agency? Is there a standardized approach to information sharing?
So we have within different teams, within ISD and within the other divisions, depending on what the work product is, we do have systems that are in place. So we've got, so say we're talking about the publication process in terms of where we are within the process. Is this something that's been approved? We have it go through a review process and have it then be approved to go on the public facing website, for example. And so depending on what it is, if we're talking about ISD, we're kind of moving these things through these systems for publication and just for tracking purposes and approval routing.
Thanks, Camille. And that's all the questions we have right now. So if there aren't any more questions, we'll go ahead and end our session today. I want to thank Camille and Adam and Kelly and Brandon for answering our questions and being our panelists. As a reminder, this session will be recorded and posted online later. So if you want to go back and watch it, you can. And we encourage you to visit our website, ers.usda.gov, and learn more about the information ERS produces. And with that, I will end today's session. Thank you, everyone.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.